Thank you so much for sharing your film. Thank you for being here so we can chat a little bit about it. How did you guys come up with this idea? How did you get, what was the inspiration behind this powerful story?
This was my MFA thesis for DePaul University, and when I was writing a script, I had something totally different in mind, and then life happened. So my father actually had a stroke, and the premise of the story is very much similar to mine. I picked up my dad from the hospital, and we sat in Walgreens and for 30 minutes and didn't talk. And so in my mind, I thought of like, what do I want to say to my dad? What I wish I could have said to him. And that's where Cottage Grove really started. And
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing to hear. Was it difficult for you to kind of go through that process that's very personal to you?
Yeah, so the first draft was like an emotional dump. So like similar to the characters, after my parents divorced when I was younger, my father was not in my life. And so we, oddly enough, got reconnected when I was in film school. So after the experience with his stroke and in life, I made like the first draft, which was an emotional dump. And then after that, I really focused on the characters and who they were. So with each draft, my story got less and less personal or attached to it. And it really was focused on these two men trying to find common ground with one another. So yeah, it was a process.
Yeah, I'm sure. How did you get connected with the cast?
We worked with O'Connor Casting here locally in Chicago. They did us some major favors in getting us some incredible talent.
After getting the final script, like locking that down, the challenge was to find strong leads for this. I knew we were going to find the son character because there's just a bevy of like amazing talent in Chicago, but the father specifically I was concerned about. And using O'Connor, we found Sean. He was the first person I looked at, and I just knew it was him. Oddly enough, he sounds just like my father. And there was no stipulation or anything that I gave, besides just like the script and like a character description. But when I heard his audition tape, it like freaked me out because I let my sister watch it with me, and she was like, "That's Dad." I'm like, "Yeah, that's our dad." So it was just serendipitous in the way that everything aligned. Like everyone was emotionally attached to it, from the lead to the supporting to the background talent. Everyone was just invested in the story, so it made for powerful performance for everyone. Yeah.
And the crew as well.
Yes.
Were personally interested in it. I remember when we met with our cinematographer Gary for the first time, he was like, "First of all, this is the kind of film I want to make. It's like it's right happening right now down the street."
Yeah.
And then also just his personal connection to the material, and that's why I wanted to make it too, was I felt like most of us have something from a parent we'd like to hear, something we haven't heard yet, or something that's bothering, something that they owe us an apology or something. And so in that sense, even though it was extremely personal to George to start out with, I felt like as it progressed into its own film, it became very universal. So that's why I wanted to be a part of it, for sure.
Well, thank you so much again. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.